AC Sports Live is brought to you by All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. Earn your Class A and Class B license and endorsements with courses online and in person in the city of Long Beach. Call or visit the website 909-708-4861, www.allincdotraining.com. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or just want to change a career, scholarships are available, so don't worry about the cost. Give them a call. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Mood Swing Apparel, DEM Clothing. Dominate every matchup, period. Check them out, Mood Swing Apparel on Instagram. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Cannon Nation Boxing. If you want to learn the sweet science of boxing, or if you just want to get a real good workout in, working out and training with pros, check out CannonNationBoxing.com and become the best version of yourself today.
He ain't never slumber, never put him to the test. He be reigning king forever, resurrected after death. All praise to God, brother, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, all praise to the one.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We in this bad boy once again. Tuesday. In the place to be. I'm a little raspy because I've been boxing and swimming and playing golf. So my fitness is up, but now my throat is all scraggly because I'm getting it in. Good evening, everybody. The Queen Elaine is in here. The Rubio method is in here. My man Rubio. I need to watch the Rubio method. I'm pretty sure he went ham today because he and I had a little discussion, and we'll talk about it later, about the events of this week. The elephant in the room. We'll talk about it a little bit. This is AC Sports Live. It is the 16th day of July in the Lord's year 2024. Yes, this year is more than half over. The 16th day of July. We almost out of here, man. It's crazy. It's a really kind of a eventful day. Today marks the release of College Football 25. And I don't know if you're a big football video game or just a video game person at all. This is huge. Why? Because 30 years ago, we sat in Dykstra Hall, Sunset Village, Saxon Suites, off-campus apartments, and we played a game called Bill Walsh. I want to say Bill Walsh 92. It could have been Bill Walsh 94, which will make it even more kind of monumental. 94. Fast forward 30 years later, there's a college football game that just came out, and I get to date myself. Proud papa moment. My son is on the game, which is mind-boggling to me because 2 years ago, he didn't play football at all. Now he's on a football game and he gets to play with his friends and he gets to play as himself. I don't know if that's the coolest thing ever. I think it's pretty cool. Shout out to Courtney Simpson. His son is playing for Boise State and he's like, yo, 2 drill kids. And we were like, yo, isn't this wild? Our kids are playing on a game and not the player they made up. It's actually them. And then my buddy Shavar Branch, his son is Zach and Zion Branch, and they're almost on the cover of the game. And, you know, Zach Branch is probably one of the number one receivers in the country. And it's wild, man, just to kind of fathom that all this NIL, name, image, and likeness situation brought this back. Because it was up, I think, until 2014. They had a college football game, but it was limited. Now, the kids got their names, they got their ability, if they have improved themselves. So it's pretty cool. I got BT in here. I'm waiting for track and field to have a video game, so BT son could be on there. Yeah, Queenie, it's nice. It's, you know, they got a couple dollars too. They got a couple dollars. It won't measure up to how much money they're making on the actual game itself. But yo, I'm happy for them, man. I mean, we didn't get that much love. So many college athletes will get in trouble with their ladies over the next couple of days because of that game. My wife said, "Oh no, you haven't played a video game in 30 years. Now your son's on the game. You and my son will be playing video games all weekend." I'm gonna have to buy a controller because he has a PS5 and I don't think he has 2 controllers. I'm gonna have to go buy a controller. I gotta play him. I'll play him UCLA versus San Jose State. We probably get drug in the mud, but I gotta get it in. My main man, Cool McCain, in the building. Fly, Eagles, fly. So yeah, so I told my son I was on a video game when I had my cup of coffee in the league. My rating was pretty bad. I think I might have been a 60 or something really crazy. And my speed was like 70, 71. So it wasn't accurate at all. My name wasn't on there. It was just, you know, a random dude, number 27. So I said, well, since you haven't played yet and you redshirted last year, your rating will probably be pretty low. But you get to update your rating depending on how you play. And I got a chance to see some San Jose State kids play. They posted it on Instagram. Let's see if I can't find this video of a couple of players from San Jose State playing.
Real quick, let's go. I'm gonna get some icy uniform too. Like,
I'm wearing darker.
Which is cool. Of course, you can pick your own uniforms, pick the alternative uniforms, whatever your college has. And I imagine you can still have the freedom to create uniforms, but I think it's pretty cool. San Jose State has their black unis, their, you know, their neighborhood uniforms, so they call it. And all the same graphics as Madden. I don't think it's going to be that much different than Madden. Realistic graphics, you know, poor tackling by the computer. But I think just the joy the kids are going to have playing as themselves is pretty cool. I haven't bought a video game in 30 years. And I think this one might bring me out of retirement. Just because it's just a long time coming. All the AAU basketball we went through. So now he gets to see the fruits of his labor come to fruition. Now my wife didn't like his profile. I says, yeah, I think this is pretty accurate though, because my buddy Courtney Simpson's son, Andrew Simpson, his picture looks like a random dude. At least Alex got his actual face on the video game, and I think it's pretty cool. They give the kids ratings based on performance, of course. Not accurate, because we all remember my son ran a 10-3, wind aided, but a 10-3, 10-5, wind aided at 6'4", 220. So I know he was faster than most of the guys on his team. They still gave him, I think, a 72 speed, like an 80 acceleration. So it's just based off of, you know, playing time and experience. The starters have good numbers across the board. They're all 80s. Everybody that's a reserve is in the 60s, low 70s. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm happy for them. BT said it's for sure bringing me out of retirement. It probably won't be that much better than Madden, but the fact that college football, college sports in general, again, That's the difference. The allegiance you have to your college. You're going to play with UCLA if you're Rubio and I. You know what I'm saying? You're going to play with UCLA and see if we're any good. Deshaun Foster on the sidelines. And you know, we don't know who our star players are going to be. We don't have, you know, it's just, you're just playing a game. But I saw the Penn State introduction. I saw the Clemson introduction, like coming out the tunnel, and they got that stuff accurate. That stuff is on point. But the Buffalo from Colorado runs down the field, and you know, Deion Sanders runs out, and 8 toes and all. Deion Sanders running out the tunnel. So I think it's going to be fun. I can't wait to pick it up. I think you can order it today, and the 19th it'll be available if you do it a download on PS5, Xbox. I have an Xbox down there. My son took the PS5 with him, but you know, I don't know, before I pick it up, I want to make sure my console can actually play it. I haven't used my console for anything but TV and watching games. OG Keith in here. They did our Bruins no justice on that game. They did us greasy, Keith. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen our rating. Well, we don't have. What do we have? I went to the meeting. We were trying to get some NIL money together so we can get some dudes, and they were only asking for $500,000. And I'm like, well, you can't get no big time dudes for under $2 million. So who are you trying to recruit? Again, it's paid for play right now, man. So I don't know. We got the hardest schedule in UCLA history moving into the Big Ten. We only have like 2 gimmies. Hawaii is one, but then the rest of the way, we got to play. I got CNQ, Anthony from LA, AC from LA in here from the Collective Podcast. Yo. So we will see. And the same thing for my son's school. They're not sure who the guys are going to be. They graduated so many guys, and then Coach Ken came in and let some kids go because they had, you know, character issues or whatever they had going on. So we're going to run this thing and see what happens. And the goal is the 12-team playoff. Remember, this is the 12-team playoff season. Last year, we heard all the gripes about there should be more players, or more teams in the playoff when Florida State got left out. Well, now we got 12 teams. 12 teams in the playoff. So we shall see. I can't wait, man. I got to pick that game up and see if I can't bring the Bruins back to prominence on the game, playing my career or whatever it is. I can expect it being a very high selling game. And they put so much time and effort into the game. I believe it will be functional. It'll be realistic. And the addition to the technology that they continue to improve over at EA Sports, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bestseller, no doubt. The NBA Olympic team is out here balling. I got Cuzzo Karif in here. Michigan State is out there. The Sparty is out there. Again, man, I don't know why I like Michigan State. I like that green. I don't know why. I got the SG trilogy in here. Plug 1. So the USA team is rolling as they should. Beating Australia, one of their toughest matchups, 98 to, I believe it was 92. No surprises there. But last week, Kawhi Leonard dropped out. And I think it's time to rename Kawhi Leonard. For the last 3 years, Anthony Davis has been the OG tender love. Well, as a Kawhi Leonard fan, I think it's time that we go ahead and give Kawhi Leonard some tender love. Why he showed up at all, I don't know. You can't get right. Like, I don't know why Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and my main man Joel Embiid are even playing in the Olympics. Did you see Joel Embiid's knee brace? It's the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. But Kawhi Leonard just tapping out. If you still weren't healthy, why waste the American people's time hoping that the cyborg from the future would play in the Olympics? So, Kawhi Leonard, you are now tender love until further notice. Tender, oh so tender. Now, they replaced Kawhi with Derrick White. That's a topic of discussion. What you say, since you here I lay all alone. You listen to the words of the song. Here I lay all alone, rubbing my knee. And I don't want to laugh at nobody's injury, but if you hurt, stay hurt. Go get some rehab. Go get some ice. Rest, ice, compression, elevate, rice that knee. Kawhi, Joel Embiid, and Anthony Davis don't need to be out there making things worse. He is a champion. He is Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, no one stays healthy, bro. I know, man. But as a Kawhi fan, I'm just getting on him like a Philadelphia 76ers fan, Philadelphia Eagles fan does. We get on our stars. We get on them. I understand you hurt and you had a great career. But don't tease us like that, man. Queen said AD has passed the torch. The tender love torch has been passed to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi, tender love, Leonard. Do you think this team could keep up with the Dream Team? Yeah, I think there would be a good matchup. However, without Kobe Bryant, and shout out to OG Bean Bryant, Joe, who passed away. I believe this team probably lacks a little toughness. So they could hang with the Dream Team. I just think the Dream Team had a little bit more fortitude. Fortitude. Debos and bullies on the team. You look at the Dream Team full of bullies like Jordan, Magic, Bird, Barkley, Ewing. Them some bullies, man. Them dudes are mean. Today's player, very skillful. But nobody is really mean on that team. Like, nobody strikes fear. LeBron hasn't punched anybody in his whole career. Not that fighting should be the end result, but just the possibility. Just maybe. Like, Patrick Ewing will bust you in the chops. Hakeem Olajuwon will choke slam somebody with his big old palm across your chest and pick you up. And I heard Hakeem Olajuwon was slapping teammates with them big old hands. I don't think they're mean enough. Somebody let a fly in here. Get that dude out of here. Let a fly in here. Yeah, great question, Rubes. I do think they can hang with them, but I think after a while, them Debos will come and play. Kawhi's knees are done. Who's more done, Kawhi or Tiger Woods? Don't tell Tiger Woods he needs to retire. He'll go off. OG Neal making sense. You wasted no time with Tender Love tonight. Got into it real quick. Get on it. Waste no time, man. The crown now. Is it the crown or the tiara? The tiara goes to Kawhi, man. Ice up, son. Can't make the club in the tub. You go to the team that's paying you, man. Get yourself right for the team that's paying you. Did y'all speak on why Brown did get on the collect team? Here we go. Rest in peace, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant. Kobe Bryant's father passed away. Put some icy hot on it. So now, with the departure of Kawhi Leonard, Jaylen Brown. The finals MVP of the world champion Boston Celtics was not brought on the team. The initial thoughts that he would be a perfect replacement for Kawhi Leonard. He probably should have been on there before Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi Leonard was hurt at the end of the season. However, Jaylen Brown was not asked. Instead, Jason Tatum is on the team. And now Derrick White is on the team. Kawhi Leonard was never even, Kyrie Irving was never even a thought. All right, so this is a topic Rubio probably likes. This is political. This is America. We all know how pro-black Jaylen Brown is. And it's not that he's, prejudiced or racist towards anything but black excellence, but he speaks to the disparities, the inconsistencies, the lack of equity, and he's going to use his name and his fortune, his platform to try to bring some equality. So he will be bringing some information when he gets an opportunity on the state of America. Playing in Boston, I imagine it has to be an ongoing thought. That how do I make this place accept me as I am? They accept me as a basketball player. Do they accept me as a person? And that's kind of where that's where Jaylen Brown is. And he is also catching some flack for some words he said at the sideline at the Summer League game. So Jaylen Brown is catching some scrutiny. I got Geek in here. He's still tripping off the transformation. He's still tripping. Let's go. Kari said Brown want to make Black Wall Street again. And I don't see why that's a problem. Every nationality in America has a little piece of the city that they can call their own. Little Saigon, little China, little India. There are no real Meccas, no real Tulsa, Oklahomas of the past. And there should be. And it has nothing against other races. It just behooves us to finally have something for us. And I don't know why that's such a big deal. I just know it makes people feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is what this country was built on. He is smart. He's going to make it big with that new bag of money. He is very smart. I said today, why is he being scrutinized for a statement he made that is pretty true? He's the smartest guy in the NBA. His IQ is off the charts. The guy spoke at Harvard as a student. He has an internship at NASA. The kid is a genius. But he's a danger because he's so smart. And his complexion does not fit the stereotype of a person that smart. He is in Boston. They hate anyone making bread and speaking up. Well, he there for the long haul. They champions. So they going to accept him, and he going to be out there angry like Robert Parrish. It's a problem because equity brings equality, and the masses have not bought into that narrative, and they won't. With the temperature of today's society, with the actions of last week, with Terrell Davis being arrested off the airplane, like it's still not an equal playing field. And I know it's hard for some to even see and fathom. But if you're of our complexion, you understand. You understand completely why Jaylen Brown's not on the Olympic team. Derrick White. I mean, the names alone let you know. Derrick White versus Jaylen Brown. He might as well be Jaylen Black. Jaylen Black versus Derrick White. White is good, clean, and wholesome. Jaylen Brown's going to be difficult and a problem because every time he gets a microphone, he's going to say something. This goes back to, remember Craig Hodges going to the White House? Craig Hodges wore his African garb to meet the president. It was out there shooting jumpers with the president. And he said, I have some concerns I want to talk to the president about. And the president was like, who brought this joker up in here? I'm not sure if it was George Bush Sr. Was it George Bush Sr. that met the 96 Bulls? The first championship the Bulls won when Craig Hodges went to the White House? He ain't messing around, man. Oh, look at my main man. Is that Mitchum up in here? Shalom, shalom. Aki, peace, my brother. Hey. Yes, sir. We know why. And Kyrie is still in a space that he's been placed in since his remarks about the documentary about Ephraim Power. And I'm saying it in the Hebrew tongue so I don't get flagged by Facebook. If you say the other word, then the computer goes crazy. But if you say it in his original text, I can't be anti-Semitic if I'm Semitic. The Ephraim documentary. And, you know, I don't think he did anything wrong, but he's being seen as a villain with his flat earth, his anti-vax, everything he stands for. But I think Kyrie is another very intelligent, very outspoken when asked what he believes, what he feels. And he stands on business, and people don't like that. So these two outstanding ball players are not playing in the Olympics for reasons other than their basketball ability. They're both champions. Kyrie was a key part of taking down the Warriors with LeBron James. Why LeBron James didn't fight for Kyrie to come join him? You might want to ask LeBron James. Speaking of LeBron James, media, everybody, please give Bronny a break. He is the 55th pick of the draft. He is going to take some time to get his basketball bearings, his acumen, his grown man strength. I mean, why would they keep posting his stats? I mean, they say, oh, he's witnessing greatness. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 for 4. I mean, why they doing a man like this? Baby Goat went crazy. I said, come on. And he hasn't made a 3 yet. And he shot some air balls last night. Bronny's going to be fine. Jaylen Brown said, honestly, I don't think Bronny is a pro. And if you cut the statement off right there, they're trying to start some controversy. Some black on black hateration. Trying to start some Jaylen Brown versus LeBron James activity. Who thinks LeBron James Jr. is ready to play in the NBA right now? I'll wait, because LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny, is not being given a fair shot at development. Everything he does is going to be scrutinized. Every shot he takes is going to be on SportsCenter. Every time he gets his ankles broke, he's going to be on Bleacher Report. If we look back at Lonzo Ball's Summer League, he was a Summer League MVP. But Lonzo Ball was also the number 2 pick in the draft out of UCLA. an all Pac-12 performer. Bronny James didn't even play at USC. So we got to give my man an opportunity to grow. It's not fair to treat Bronny like he's a first-round pick. Give him a chance to develop. I think it's only fair. Otherwise, this gets back to the greater good and legacy of LeBron James. We all know what's going to happen. Bronny's going to be active for the first couple games. He's going to get in the game. He's going to dap up his dad. His dad going to throw him a ball. He going to maybe shoot and make one, and they're going to sub him out and send him to the G League. Storybook. I agree with Jaylen Brown. I don't think Bronny is a pro yet. Give him 3 years. Bronny will be starting probably somewhere else. But he is a solid defender. He has a nice stroke. Remember, Kobe Bryant airballed some balls too as a rookie. So I know that's not the end all be all for him. He's going to be just fine. Elaine said they are on Bronny's head. They said Bronny must have been the shooter. Oh man, that's too soon. Well, it's not, because 45 was playing golf the next day. So was it really a shooter? If Bronny was shooting, I think even Bronny can use some crosshairs and make a hit. Not to make fun of an assassination attempt, but when it's not really an attempt, it's a publicity stunt. I'm here to see Bronny do well. I think I am too, but I'm not unrealistic. He wasn't even this good in high school his first 2 years at Sierra Canyon. If you watched his progression, it took him time to get used to being in the limelight. Once he got there and got comfortable, he was a dude. The same thing's going to happen in the NBA. It's just Dalton Connect played in college, 3 or 4 years? And he was a dude. So now he feels like he's the dude. Now I can't explain the kid going to Duke, the Cooper kid. He's just a different breed. He's going to be a dude first day on the job. And sometimes guys are wired like that. But not Bronny. It's only fair to give Bronny time, but not fair to those that got passed over in the draft or not chosen for him. I don't buy that, because the same thing in the NFL. Mr. Irrelevant gets drafted, and for what? Sometimes it's novelty. Anybody in the second round is a project pick. Guys who get free agency and still get an opportunity still make the team more times than the second round pick does. It's a throwaway pick, like I said last week. Second round picks are not guaranteed. Yeah, one person didn't get drafted over Bronny, but so what about the other 35 teams, or how many teams are in the NBA didn't pick those guys either? I think a team has the right to pick whoever they want to pick no matter what. And I think it's a cheap argument to say other guys deserve it because they played better for whatever reason. Sometimes they don't pick guys who played too many years in college. You play 5 years at Marquette, like Dwayne Wade. That's a very unique situation. A guy who plays 5 years in the NBA in college probably not gonna make it to the pros. Sorry to say, they want one and dones. Guys who are phenoms, guys who can sell tickets. So is it unfair to that guy from USC who was way better than Bronny, who didn't get drafted at all? Yeah, it's unfair. But the Lakers weren't going to draft him anyway. What about the Timberwolves? What about the Celtics? What about the Pistons? What about the Raptors? All these other teams didn't pick those guys either. We're talking about one spot for one of the greatest players of all time's son. Again, I said it last week. Your resume is only half the battle. You got to have a network. You got to have somebody talking for you. You got to have some juice. Something has to come with it. The reference has to mean something. The pedigree has to mean something. At some point or another, Joe Jellybean Bryant's son was going to be a dude, and Jerry West knew it. A lot of teams were going to pass on this kid from Philadelphia who grew up in Italy and who became Kobe Bryant. So we don't know. So I understand where you're coming from, Rule. somebody didn't get drafted, but Bronny took their spot. Only one spot. Ain't fair, but neither is favor. Favor ain't fair. Hey man, I went to the Big 3 this week. And I gotta say, I had a pretty good time. The place was electric at the Honda Center in Anaheim. I didn't know what to really expect. I never been to a Big 3 event. I went to see Michael Beasley because Michael Beasley is a bucket. And we've seen Michael Beasley on the pivot. We've seen him dealing with his mental health issues, and we've always battled mental health here on the AC Sports Live show, the Rubio Method show, the Decade show, the 1585 show. We don't want anybody to deal and struggle with mental health on the Collective Podcast show as well. And Michael Beasley has had some demons ever since his mother passed away. He's been going through some tough times, but it was good to see him out there hooping. I went out there with my family, able to see, the game. My wife, our godchildren's parents, Karina and Terrell, we enjoyed, the Big 3. My son even flew out, came to church, and we had a chance to just check out the Ice Cube's brand of ball. 4-point shots. He's on fire one-on-one for a questionable call. DJ Quick performed. Dub C performed. They had a couple of dance acts dancing. They had little kids called the Young Three performing. There was a guy who kept walking around with this shirt on. I see greatness in you, but he had the weirdest hairstyle of all time. And he would not sit down. He just kept walking. So I'm going to give him the publicity he wants. He walked. And he walked all over the place. He would not sit down. And his hair was in the way. So I said, my man, you say, I see greatness in you. I can't see the game through you. Get a seat. I went trying to see who I could see. I saw a bunch of celebrities. I saw Mike Bibby. You saw, a couple of guys from the NBA. I was more excited to see George Gervin, the Iceman. I was a big time George Gervin fan as a kid. I had the poster of him sitting in the ice chair with the 2 ice basketballs. And if you remember George Gervin, he was 6'8", 175 pounds, very thin. He came out the tunnel and he was about 300 pounds. And I was like, yo, what happened to the Iceman? I'm like, now he's the ice cream man. And then my wife slapped me on the leg and said, you can't say that. I'm sorry, but he just hurt my heart. When Iceman George Gervin used to do the finger roll, all you saw was a sleek, slim. And he's like, let that man be happy. Let him eat and be happy. I'm like, I want him to live. He can't be 300 pounds. His frame can't hold that. He's the Iceman. So I was out of pocket. I apologized to the people around me. My wife said, people around you are big, and you talking about somebody that's big. And I was like, but that's the Iceman. He can't get that big. Saw Captain Jack coaching against Charles Oakley. Now I had to record Oak, man. I thought Oak was going to slap his own player. Charles Oakley is still Charles Oakley. And I'm egging him on. Player getting in Charles Oakley's face. Charles Oakley threw him out the game. So I was in there instigating. I was instigating it. And I said, get him, Oak. He don't know who you are, OG. And the dude was still woofing at Oakley. And this is halftime. And then the third quarter begins, second half, because Big 3 goes 25 points to 50 points for halftime. And dude thought he was going to be in the game. Oakley said, Sit your butt down. You ain't going in the game. And he looked like a bad kid. He looked like a bad kid who has just been reprimanded and told to go in the corner. He sat on the bench, pouted. And then as the game was going on, he went to the scorer's table to check in, and he tried to sneak in the game, and Oakley snatched him back. I said, you messing with the OG Debo, all-time Debo. He is not letting you back in the game, player. And the big man got in foul trouble that was in there for him. So eventually he got back in the game against Charles Oakley's likes. So I had a good time, man. We had a real good time. I was disappointed, though. Dub C performed, he didn't see walk. That's kind of like getting a banana split, no banana. Elaine said she loved the Big Three. I thought it was pretty cool. Michael Beasley didn't disappoint. I believe he had 30 and 16, 30 points, 60 rebounds. As G said, he could fango roll. Bring back those posters. Amen, brother. I would love to get that poster. I want to get that Daryl Dawkins poster where he's breaking the backboard and calling out the different names of his dunks, the baby maker, the glass flying, girls crying, babies crying, glass still flying, 360-degree slam dunk from Lovetron. She said Iceman is now the ice box. Yeah, I would have gotten in trouble for saying that too. The MLB All-Star game is going on. I'm not that into it, but I did see the Dodgers got their very first all-time home run derby winner, Teoscar Hernandez. Go Doyers. It's hard to believe he's the first ever. All the sluggers the Dodgers have had over the years, this is the very first one. Shout out to Teoscar. Teo Hernandez. Home run derby champ. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are getting the hang of this WNBA thing. Now, Angel Reese's double-double streak has been snapped thanks to her shoot the ball with her eyes closed layups. Somebody got to help Angel Reese with her layups, man. She shoots them from the bottom of the center of her being to get them up to the rim. She's 6'4", or at least she's 6'2". She can at least get her hand up to the rim and lay it in the white box. Her just tossing it up there and getting her own rebounds. We on to you. And Caitlin Clark, first rookie ever to record a triple-double. I'm on to you as well. Yes, you are bringing the fans out to the yard. Your milkshake brings the fans to the yard. We get it. But I watched the game last week, and they are no longer guarding you like they were guarding you in the first 10 games. So something is up. Yes, Caitlin Clark is a baller, but she don't need your help. I've seen more bad closeouts than I've seen all season. Did they get the Charles Barkley memo? If you let this girl eat, we all eat. Is that what's happening? I'm seeing her running around with no defense. She's just running around, getting to the basket, diamond. Whereas the first 10 games, they was locking her up, knocking her down, fouling her, making her life miserable, making her the turnover machine that she is. Now, she looks like Sabrina Ionescu. She looks like Sue Bird all of a sudden. Hey, I just watched the game and I saw a difference. And this was the New York Liberty at that, one of the better teams in the league. So, young girls, keep hooping. Keep hooping. I alluded to earlier Terrell Davis being arrested on the airplane. And we don't know the particulars, but we do know he's not happy. We as a family are having to have hard conversations with each other about what transpired and answer the many questions that my children have. TD on the incident aboard his flight via Instagram. So in a nutshell, Terrell Davis was apprehended for a conversation on an airplane. Now, we know how difficult it is to have a conversation on an airplane. Certain words you can't say on an airplane. And for whatever reasons, they thought it was important to get him off the plane and detain him or whatever it was. It was embarrassing. I'm hearing. They probably didn't know who he was. They didn't recognize him. He looks pretty, regular. He looks like a regular guy. He's not super tall. He's not as swole as he used to be. And, being a Hall of Famer, you don't wear your gold jacket everywhere you go. He probably looked like a civilian, and he was treated as such, a black civilian at that. So you can put your assumptions on it any way you want. I know how this goes. He probably was threatening to someone, a flight attendant, and this is what happens. So we'll get the details soon, and we'll probably revisit that story. What about the drunk national anthem recital? I didn't hear it. I heard about it, and I'll probably bring it up on the 1585 show on Thursday. If we get a chance to go on the show, because we always have something to do on Thursday. We've been busy. We're trying to get it done. Just have not had the time. So, yeah. What are we talking about here? All right, so it's still Unk season, and it's not going good for Unks. This could almost be a tragic Johns. Unk season. Come on, Unk. Come on, Unk. Oh. It ain't going too good for Unks, man. My wife said I should enter the decathlon. Nah, I'm in an Unk age group. I'm not doing anything that might cause bodily harm. I couldn't even force my way to play in the adult basketball game last week with my main man, Ray Domingo. I was taking my son to the airport. I'm trying to map out how can I play in the game after I take him to the airport. We got to go a little bit early and I could have made it, but I just didn't have the desire to go out there and make my back sore and make my knees sore. It's Unk season. I got to play it like an Unk. Unk season up in here. Generation X test. Yeah, SG. He's going to need a bacchiotomy. A bacchiotomy is definitely in full effect. Tragic, but hilarious. Yeah, it's tragic. But, ooh, my back. Ooh. Generation X. That's me. I don't know about you. 1 point for everything you've done. I believe I've done everything on this list. Rotary phone, yes. Floppy disk, yes. Typewriter, yep. Film cameras, got one right here. Listen to CDs, yep. Made a mixtape, sure did. Owned a Walkman. In college, had a Walkman. Listened to music on a boombox, sure did, like LL Cool J. Watched movies on VHS, still do. Rented a movie from Blockbuster, I still have my card. Learned cursive, absolutely. Practiced my signature when I was a kid, so when I would go pro, I have a signature already ready. Played Atari, sure did. Sent or received a fax. That's how I got my scholarship signed. Had a MySpace account, sure did. Ordered from Columbia House, I still owe them money. Had an AOL address, absolutely. Access to internet via dial-up, sure did. Took all night to download one song. Used an encyclopedia, that was our internet. Used a phone book, yes sir, a yellow one. Sent a postcard from Germany every week. Used a paper map. I had a Thomas guide. How we got there, I have no idea. Owned a dictionary, still do. Written a check, spelled CHEQEE, a check, sure did. And uncurled a telephone cord. Absolutely. So I am 100%. 100% Generation X. SG, 100%. I even did jumping off the swing. Silverado Park, King Park, Vets Park, jump off the swing as high as you can. I even had Mama's McDonald's. When you ask your mom for McDonald's and she says we got McDonald's at the house. A house burger on Wonder Bread with an onion on top and bell peppers inside, a tomato, some baked fries, and some Kool-Aid. That's Mom's McDonald's. You said mother-in-law still use AOL. Monkey bars, man. Drank out of the holes, played Mad Libs, and had high stereo the size of a fridge, had tape adapter to play CDs in your car, had a pull-out stereo and it still got stolen. It was a different time, man. We grew up in a different time. All right, man. So my mental reps, as I get ready to close out, I got about 6 minutes. With everything happening this week, and I have no beef with anybody that has their own thoughts and beliefs of what they've seen. I even talked to my good buddy Rubio. We don't agree on what happened last week with former President Trump at his rally. But my word as a man of God, I always go to the scripture, and I always try to use patience in these types of things. And I told Rubio that I always watch and look before I make an assumption, before I start thinking if what someone is telling me, or if the grass is greener, or if someone is telling me a story and it sounds too good to be true, I kind of step back and try to analyze the who, what, why, when, and how. And what are you telling me this for? Why are you telling me this? Why am I seeing this? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose of this? And what is the outcome from this? So I go to the scripture. 1 John says in chapter 4, beloved, my people, don't believe every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God or the enemy, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Meaning there are people out here trying to deceive you. There are people who don't always tell you the truth. So when someone shows you something or tells you something, as we've experienced recently with our television network, a guy who claimed to be from God, a God-fearing man, trust me, I have an answer. Now I have to be even more careful. Even a man who claims to be a man of God can be the devil himself. So when I hear things, when I see things, I'm a lot slower, because my wisdom over the years is kicking in. Not very many scams, not very many dupes are going to happen. I'm going to stay in my lane and just watch the show. But if you ask me what I feel and what I've seen, I got to kind of shoot you what I believe I've seen. I've been to enough magic shows. I've been to enough WWE matches, and I've been to enough political classes at UCLA, enough communication classes, enough broadcasting classes, and working in television at a production meeting and having those people, reality show television producers, they come up with these things. And you kind of have to sit there and like, yo, is it that necessary? And they say it's sweeps week. We got to do something. We got to produce something. And part of what we do is entertainment. And, you know, I used to watch The Apprentice, and I'm sure that plays a part in this whole grand scheme. That event last week pretty much won Trump the presidency, because now the million or so people who believe they saw what they saw and it's authentic, and they believe it is an attempt, a real attempt. And then, you know, the theatrics of it all is too convenient for me as a television editor, as a person who sat in meetings on how they strategize sweeps week and agendas for television to gain popularity, to gain fans, whatever it is. These are all strategies to appease the masses to believe a certain storyline. So my second scripture, Luke 8:17,
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything is hidden that shall not be known and come abroad. Take heed therefore how you hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he seen and have. Be careful. The things you see, the things you hear. Yes, it might work. It might come off as true for the time being. But if it's not true, eventually the truth will come out. So I'm not worried about much. The media, whatever it might be that you follow, watch several sources, read several articles, and be okay with your summary, whatever you come up with, and be able to live with it. I just encourage everyone to, as we did at UCLA, think for yourself, research for yourself. Don't just take things for face value. You must have multiple sources, like any term paper, any factual document. There should be resources, and you should be able to make your own assumption by the information you bring in. So with that being said, think before you receive and accept information as true. That's my word for the night. I'm going to the scriptures. I'm going to the comments. The Queen says discernment is vital. Again, I have no beef with anybody who believes one way or the other. I just know how I see it. And if I can help you become a more educated person when it comes to, again, movies, TV, the news, catch the messages, catch what they're trying to do, and hold them accountable. Yes. It's what is staged or planned. Tupac Shakur said the media is full of dirty tricks. It's their job to entertain. That's what they got to do. I put no faith in man. I absolutely agree. Nana Mona, good seeing you too, from Canada. We worldwide on here, man. That's my time. And the ride with Chevy and Nasty is on YouTube and Facebook, following the AC Sports Live show. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with your boy. Check out all the podcasts I've mentioned, even our audio podcast. The Time Is Now with Michael Stafford, the Collective Podcast Saturday at 8. The 1585 show will be back Thursday at 9. The Rubio Method Decade show. Who else? We got the MD and Chef team. I believe they come on tomorrow at noon. We got a bunch of shows, man, and information is good. Great people, good information, always helpful, not divisive, trying to make sure people get their perspectives heard, and it's interactive. So I think it's pretty cool. All right, man. Rube says, I went into a deep dive about El Trumpo assassination attempt on today's Rubio Method, and I would highly recommend checking it out for tons of details. Definitely going to do that. Rubio, my longtime teammate. We don't always agree, but we have good, honest conversations. I think that's what America needs. Honest, strong, foundational conversations so you can get an understanding of why people believe, see, and feel the way they do. Had a great conversation about faith versus hope. Faith, strong belief. Hope, it might happen. It could happen. The example I tell Rubio is, if Rubio snapping to Chris Taylor for a field goal, it's money. I ain't got to watch it. That's buckets. But if young Cruz Rubio snaps and I'm kicking, it might happen. It might not. I hope it happens. We never know. All right, man. That's my show. I appreciate you guys. Talk to you next time. AC Sports Live. Peace out.